Hi, here we have a problem on parametric equations. In this problem, we have two parts. The first part, we have to eliminate the parameter, and in the second part, we have to sketch the graph of the curve. Okay, let's do the first part. To eliminate the parameter t, what I need to do is, either I can solve the first equation for t in terms of x, or the second equation for t in terms of y. But I prefer the first equation because in the second equation, I have t square. If I solve for t, I will get square root on the other side. So it will be little trouble. So better we can use the first equation. So let's take the first equation and solve for t. Okay, to solve for t, I have to get rid of this 3 which is in multiplication. So to get rid of this 3, I have to divide both sides by 3. So this 3 will cancel out. I get x over 3 is equal to t. Okay, now I have solved the first equation for t in terms of x, that is t is equal to x over 3. Now I have to plug in t is equal to x over 3 into the second equation. So y is equal to t square negative 1. So now in the second parametric equation, I have to substitute x over 3 for t. So this t has to be replaced by x over 3 whole square negative 1. So y is equal to, now this is a common exponent for the fraction. So this exponent can be taken for numerator and denominator. So in the next step, y is equal to x square over, the value of 3 square is just 9, negative 1. So this equation can be written as y is equal to 1 over 9 times x square negative 1. Okay, in the given parametric equations, we have eliminated the parameter t and we got the equation in terms of the two variables x and y. Okay, now let's do the second part of the question. That is, we have to sketch the graph of the curve for parameter values 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2. Here we have the values for the parameter t, that is from 0 to 2. So t can be equal to 0 or it has to be greater than 0. And t can take the utmost value 2 or it has to be less than 2 because t less than or equal to 2. So we can take values from 0 to 2 for t. And we have to substitute these values for t into the given parametric equations and find the Cartesian coordinates x and y. Okay, let's take the first value for t, that is 0. Now, it's just plug in t is equal to 0 into the given parametric equations. When I plug in t is equal to 0, over here 3 times 0 is 0. So I get x is equal to 0. And when I plug in t is equal to 0 into the second one, so this one will become 0, 0, negative 1 will be negative 1. That is y equal to negative 1. So the point is going to be 0, negative 1. Now, these are Cartesian coordinates. That is the x coordinate here and y coordinate is here. Okay, similarly, we can find the other points using the other values of t. That is, the next value we can take for t is just 1. So when I plug in t is equal to 1 into the first equation, I'll be getting 3 times 1 is 3. And y is equal to 1 square. Here t is 1. So 1 square means 1. 1 minus 1 will be 0. So the next point is going to be 3, 0. And the next value, and also the last value for t is 2. So when I plug in t is equal to 2 into the first equation, 3 times 2 is 6. That is x is equal to 6. And when I plug in t is equal to 2, over here it's 2 square, it's 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. Then I get the point 6, 3. Okay, so from the 3 values of t, I got 3 points in terms of Cartesian coordinates, that is x coordinate and y coordinate. Now, on an xy plane, you have to plot these 3 points and connect them by freehand curve. And also, you have to indicate the orientation of the curve. That is, you have to indicate the direction of the curve. Okay, that we'll see on xy plane. Okay, now let's plot the 3 points 0, negative 1, 3, 0, 6, 3 on this xy plane. So 0, negative 1 means x coordinate is 0. So then we'll have this point on the y-axis at negative 1. And here I have to take a filled circle because I got this point 0, negative 1 when t is equal to 0. So here the value of t is it is equal to 0 or it has to be greater than 0. So t can take the value 0. So whenever t is equal to this value, the point we get, this is a starting point. So we got this point when t is equal to 0. So since t can be equal to 0 according to this inequality, so we have to take a filled circle over there. In case if I have an inequality like 0 less than t less than 1, so what I have to do? So the same thing, I have to plug in 0, t is equal to 0 into the given parametric equations. Still, I'll be getting the same point 0, comma negative 1. So this is a starting point because I got this point when t is equal to 0. But when I mark this point on xy plane, I have to use empty circle at this point. Because in the given inequality, t is not equal to 0. The value of t is greater than 0. So t cannot be equal to 0. So that's why we have to use an empty circle. So very simple. So whenever we have this kind of problems, so for the starting point, if you have less than or equal to over here in the inequality given, you have to take a filled circle at the starting point, and here less than or equal to 1. So for the ending point also, we have to take a filled circle. In case if you have less than, then for the starting point, you have to take a empty circle. So here also, if you have less than, for the ending point also, you have to take an empty circle. Okay, so now we have t is equal to 0. So the point, what we get when t is equal to 0 is 0, comma negative 1. So I have to take a filled circle at this point, that is 0, comma negative 1. So the next point is going to be 3, comma 0. Here y coordinate is 0, then we'll have this point on the x-axis at 3. And here 6, comma 3. X coordinate is 6 and y coordinate is 3. And here I have to put, and here again we have to take a filled circle because this is the ending point. Since t is less than or equal to 1, that means t can be equal to 1. So that's why I'm asking you to take the point, a filled circle at the point 6, comma 3. Because we got this point 6, comma 3 when t is equal to 1. So and also this is an ending point. So now we have to draw a freehand curve through the 3 points. So we can start from 0, comma negative 1. And we reach 3, comma 0. And finally, we reach 6, comma 3. So here the starting point is 0, comma negative 1. From 0, comma negative 1 to we move 3, comma 0. And then from 3, comma 0, we move to 6, comma 3. You have to indicate the direction because there is an instruction in the question, indicate the orientation of the curve. That is, we have to show the direction of the curve.